Hello, I'm jashykins, and welcome to another vlog review. This time of the Strain episode, Creatures of the Night. Now, I wanted to do a review of last episode, but the problem was that I've warned you before that I might not get to every episode now. It sucks. But anyways, starting off talking about this episode, I saw a lot of people angry about Jim Kent's death scene. And it seems a lot of people haven't really gotten it through their head that we as audiences are observers. We can see a dreadful situation without actually being affected. And you have to look at where these characters are coming from. Jim Kent, even though he betrayed them and started the outbreak, really short version, he's still a friend. He's still someone they've talked to and such. It's and when the possibility that he'd die, of course they're going to start freaking out. Of course Nora and F are going to be, oh, that can't happen, it's going to work out somehow. That's how people react to a loved one getting killed, usually. Although you can, joke around with people, like, if you got turned into a zombie, I'd still, kill you. But yeah, it was very logical how the scene played out. Now, some people point out, well, F's sort of wrong and being stupid about them being able to save him and such, and there being a cure somehow. That's the thing. F is not thinking logically. He's thinking with his heart, with his feelings. Does he believe there's some way they could save Jim from stopping to be a vampire? No. Most likely not. No. F is just like, I need to have some way for him to still be living for a little bit. And then Nora gets pissed off because Jim died. And is it rational for her to attack Vet? No. But that's what happens when you get really emotional. You do shit you don't really think. You just do. It's like Nora's thought was probably more along the lines of, I have to blame someone, I have to hurt someone. And Ben had shot Jim, so there it is. And besides that, F learn from Jim's death. You saw how he walked over to the person who tried to escape from the convenience store before. He's, just by how slow that was, by his movements, by his facial expressions, it seemed to be him connecting Jim's death to killing this guy from stopping to completely turn. And when F started to join the little vampire killing crew headed by Citrakian, he was like, yeah, we've got to do this. But before that, he never really saw what it could take on an emotional level. And now he has the possibility of, hey, what if I have to kill my wife and kids? So, long story short, Jim Kent's death scene, logical by how the characters thought and how they'd react. We as viewers, of course, can look back and say, yeah, it's not logical how they reacted, but we're in the safety of our own homes. As I mentioned Fett before, Vasily Fett, the rat killer, rat exterminator, has finally joined the crew, and I'm really happy that we're going to now begin to see more of him. And luckily enough, he seems to be very much okay with, hey, I might be having to, kill these vampire things. he's more concerned with getting it done, and so I think he's the one most likely to take over for Satrakian. Now, once he bites the dust, which I hope isn't for a while because he is awesome. Anyways, I'm just really glad Beth's joining, because now it's like, yes, now it's a party. Now we can really get the show on the road, because now we have someone to take over if Satrakian dies, because Beth seems to have the same, we've got to get it done. And you have F and Nora being sort of the heart. Well, we'll see how things take, at least where their parts would play, because they're good for fighting, but I don't know if, put into a group what they would exactly fit as. But Fed would definitely be second in command, I believe, just by how he appeared in this episode. And this show is good. The strain is good, such as we had a huge exposition dump that told us, hey, this is how things work, blah blah blah, here's all the shit you know before. And in a certain situation, that would not work out. That would just be like, why do we care? We know all this shit. But as I said, Bet has just joined the group. So the old vampire hunter goes to him and says, these are the rules, these how things work. Fed even initiates it by saying, hey, I gotta know this shit before I get started, before I really help you out. So, yeah, there was like a really good exposition dump. Because you can have exposition dumps to remind the reader or viewer or whatever about what happened previously, but you can do it in such a way that it doesn't feel like it stops the whole show. Because if you have an exposition dump and it just feels like you're going, get it over with already, where the fuck did this come from? But as long as it's not being too apparent that it's the writers reminding you that this is what's going on, it's good. And my final thoughts for the Strain episode, Creatures of the Night. I liked it. It took place in one location and it got us fed, which is fucking awesome. We also have the hacker that helped. No internet, no cell phone service. And we got her, oh shit, this is what I did. Because, I guess you take on jobs like that and you don't really care as long as you're getting paid. I was really hoping Samwise Gamgee lasted a little longer. I really was. But once he got the worm in his cheek and they pulled it out, I was like, he's not going to last. There's going to have to be more of those in there. And yeah, that was so. R.I.P. Sean Astin. You will be missed from the show. But your character Jim Kent did really go down a blaze of glory of saying, yes, just kill me, save everyone. And I just want to say, I really want to talk about last week's episode, the episode before this, just because it seems like there's a new group of vampires that at least aren't on the Master's side. I want to know, and I want to talk about that, but I can't because that's not this episode. And I have been Jashykins, owner at jashykins.blogspot.com. If you go to my blog, you can see vlogs, reviews like this. I have written reviews up of the first 3 books in the Giver Quartet. I am working on finishing up reading the final one, Sun, and that should hopefully be done soon because the Giver books aren't really that long at all. And if you go to my blog, on the side, sidebar thingy, you can see where else I am on the web and say hi. And if you're viewing this on YouTube, if you go into the description, and it'll have a link to donate your account, and if you donate your Twitter and or Facebook accounts to my campaign, that'll really help out. This would be especially great to do if you're watching this and going, hey, I really think Jashykins deserves a bigger audience. Ta-da. And I hope you are all doing good. I can't wait for more of the Strain episodes. Oh, the birdie. Bye, birdie. Until next video, goodbye. Bye, birdie.